She was unemployed and was surviving on state benefits, while taking care of her daughter as a single parent. This was a very dark period of her life. She was so poor that her friends helped her to pay the rent. Sometimes she wouldn't eat so that her daughter would have more food. And because of all of these circumstances, she considered herself a complete failure. And it seemed like that band of misfortunes would never take an end. She fell into a deep depression. She had no hope to survive, and she even tried to take her own life at one point. But her daughter inspired her to seek help, and eventually she decided to do what she could do best: to write fantasy novels. She would forget about everything while sitting at her desk, and so she started writing more and more. She would often go to the cafes to work on her book while her child had a nap. Although she couldn't even afford food at the cafe, she only ordered 1 cup of coffee during her writing sessions, just so the cafe owner wouldn't kick her out. Somehow this way she finished the first 3 chapters of her novel. She sent the story to a publisher, but unfortunately, they quickly gave her a pass. She sent it to another publisher, but again, the answer was no. Her mailbox was filling up with rejection letters. After sending her story to 12 different publishers and getting rejected by every single one of them, she began losing confidence in her book. Finally, one day, the editor at Bloomsbury Publishing Company sat down to read the story. Fortunately, her 8-year-old daughter was there too. The little girl loved the opening chapters, and she was very curious to read the complete story. This made the publisher agree to publish her book, but the publisher also advised her to find a full-time job and said that she wouldn't make any money writing fantasy stories for children. In June 1997, at the age of 31, her first novel, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, was published with an initial print run of 1,000 copies. When readers tasted the story, the demand for her books began to rise dramatically. 5 months later, her book won its first award, the Nestlé Smarties Book Prize. And soon, J.K. Rowling went from being an unemployed, depressed, single mother living off state benefits to one of the best-selling authors of all time. Her first book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, is one of the best-selling books ever written. Currently, the 7-book series has sold more than 450 million copies worldwide. The movie franchise based on her books has grossed $7.7 billion in box office revenue. In 2004, Forbes magazine named J.K. Rowling as the first person ever to become a billionaire by writing books. She didn't become successful overnight. She had to face a lot of misfortunes and rejections while taking care of her child as a single mother and fighting depression. All those failures helped her to become stronger and helped her finish her first fantasy novel. Despite all of her wealth and fame, she never forgot the hardship and pain she had to experience. She has donated so much of her wealth to charity that she lost her billionaire status in 2011. J.K. Rowling's story shows that hard work really does pay off. From her life, we can learn that if you have a dream and if you keep getting rejected, you should not let that stop you. If you hit rock bottom, don't let it cripple you. Instead, use rock bottom as a foundation, not a conclusion. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default. That were J.K. Rowling's words at her Harvard commencement speech. This is Dare to Do Motivation.
आप फोन करो ना उसको जो फोन अभी आया मेरे को ये समझ नहीं आ रही कि आपकी आवाज वो क्यों नहीं हो रहा इसको पूछो ना वो फोन कर रही है
Hello.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Our guest will be joining us soon.
Ma'am, our guest has joined. Varma sir has joined, ma'am. I'm starting session.
So yes, you can start the session, Sapna ma'am.
Yeah. A very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to the fifth day of AICTE approved short-term training program. I, Sapna Rana, Assistant Professor, KIIT College of Engineering, and Mr. Kartikeya Sharma, HOD, Kamra Institute of Information Technology, will moderate today's session. It is a great honor for me to introduce and welcome our first speaker, Dr. S.P.Varma ji. He is Padamshri awardee and recipient of honorary doctorate D. Litt. by De Montfort University. Dr. Verma volunteered to undertake activities for peace and upliftment of Jammu and Kashmir in various fortes. He is the Vice President of the Gandhi Global Family, a United Nations recognized peace NGO. The prime objective of the organization is to strengthen people's movement for world peace. He resigns the Jammu and Kashmir government position as a project manager and then in 1990 during militancy to undertake peace initiative in the areas affected by insurgency. An inspirational figure, Dr. S.P. Varma has organized over 1,000 peace symposium, Gandhi quiz, United Nations quiz, SGDs, workshops in India as well as abroad. And it's my proud to mention that Dr. Verma has long associated with KIIT and he is supporting and guiding us in many events. Thank you so much, sir, for that. Today, we are privileged to have an opportunity to listen to him on topic mutual respect and cooperation. On behalf of all gathered here, I welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir. Sir. Hello, Verma ji.
Dr. Kalika, telephone Verma ji. Yeah.
Yes, please. Yes, Agarwal Saab.
Sir, most welcome.
Thank you very much.
We are eager to listen to you. So nice of you. We are grateful to you for accepting our invitation. Please.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Sir, अपना वीडियो ऑन कर लीजिए.
वीडियो ऑन कर. जी.
Ma'am, the video is not getting started up. It has been muted by the host. Okay, done, ma'am, done.
So this is clear now? Are you listening me?
No. We can listen you, but I'm not able to see you, sir.
The video, ma'am, you are visible. I guess we have started the video.
Ma'am, वीडियो आ रहा है आपका, बट आप दिख नहीं रहे हैं, मतलब वर्मा सा दिख नहीं रहे हैं, वो टेबल ज्यादा आ रहा है इसके अंदर ना।
ओके, सो सॉरी द कैमरा हैज
वीडियो,
बीन
हाँ
टर्न्ड बैक।
हाँ, वीडियो का थोड़ा आप वो सही कर लीजिए मैम प्लीज।
आई एम सो सॉरी मैम। इज इट डन नाउ?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Yes, Professor Agarwal, and you have selected me as one of the participant in your webinar, and the subject you have chosen and assigned to me are very two that principles. One is mutual respect and another is cooperation. On these two principles, I am working for the last, say, 50 years. When I was just 16 years of age, the teachers, my parents, my guru, Padma Bhushan, Dr. Nirmal Deshpande, then Bharat Ratna, Banovaji, and ultimate Mahatma Gandhi, the father of nation, and who is likely to be on the very near to the seat of that father of the world. They have adopted these two principles in their lives, and ultimately they have adopted it, practiced it, and then preached to the public, and from generation to generation it is coming downward. So whatever the area may be, whatever the institution may be, whatever the office may be, private or government, where these principles of Mahatma Gandhi ji, which are truth, non-violence, justice, understanding, cooperation, mutual respect, and discipline. These are the principles everybody has to adopt, whether they are working at the top most level or at bottom level. So when we are talking of education and in the institutions, whether this is a small school, college, or at university level, so every body requires to be given the respect, and respect is compulsory for student as well as teachers and management also. So this is reciprocal. When we will be giving respect to the youngsters, they will be giving respect to the elders. So this is reciprocal. And as far as KIIT is concerned, these two principles of Mahatma Gandhi are being implemented, and because of that, the KIIT, maybe school, maybe college, and ultimately I want to see that college institution as a university. So they will be carrying forward from generation to generation, and the management and founders, founder of the KIIT, I have seen, I have observed, I have worked with them also for the last say 30 years, and I am on of the opinion the way these two principles are being on that implemented there in their schools at all levels, I will appreciate. And then number two is cooperation. The people say that the cooperation, the mutual cooperation, which we are that giving at all levels to the people, to the organizations, to the management, or among us them. This is very important, and the one should be habitual of providing cooperation to everybody, but the cooperation should be given at at the level when it is required. So when we will be practicing these two that principles, mutual that respect and cooperation. So it should be given that that chance to the kids, those who are that are studying at various schools, and from school level this should be in the curriculum, that these, when they will become the actual and these small students, so they will make it compulsory in their lifestyle also, and ultimately they will be making, they will be improving it, and they will be habitual of making it that they will involve in their lifestyle. So I think if this society has to grow, or the world has to grow, we must adopt these two principles, and that too from school levels, so that it can grow more and more, when the youngsters go to the fields, they will implement it for the other people, and make it ultimately the habitual. And whatever the components I have referred, truth, non-violence, justice, and understanding, if we want to see the world as the peaceful world, then these principles, including the two which have been allotted to me, on which I am speaking, they can make the citizens, the youngster citizens, as global citizens, and ultimately they can contribute for the peaceful world. That is my opinion. Any on that question, if you will raise, then I can give you a reply on that. Yes. Yes, beta. Yes, please. You can ask me any question.
Thank you so much, sir. So we have one question, as we are on different platforms on Facebook and YouTube. So there's one general question.
Yeah.
That is, how mutual trust and cooperation can be fostered among students in such a competitive environment? As we are living in a very competitive environment, how we can embed, how we can foster trust and cooperation among students? So this is a question.
Good, good. Well, this is very nice question which you are putting, and we are lacking in it, mutual understanding and cooperation. So the founder of KIIT, Mr. B.R. Kamra, has once interacted with me. It starts from KIIT. He said that the students at lower level, uh, they are lacking in confidence. So I said, how, sir, we can make them that full of confidence? So he said that we must start the new education, that designed by Mahatma Gandhi. So, नई तालीम, we must start from the very beginning, and that will be the pioneer for making a viable society full of confidence. And in that education policy, we will see that the confidence, the mutual understanding, and that the self-respect and cooperation will emerge. So I think the new policy which is emerging now, that will be focusing on these that components, and we must start whatever the education Mahatma Gandhi has visualized in his lifetime, and what is his design of education, that we must introduce. Yes, please.
नमस्कार सर.
Yes, sir. नमस्कार सर.
सर मेरे ना कुछ पार्टिसिपेंट्स के भी क्वेश्चन है, कुछ मेरे क्वेश्चन भी हैं.
हाँ बोलिए.
म्यूचुअल रेस्पेक्ट और कोऑपरेशन की बात करते हैं तो आपका इतना वाइड एक्सपीरियंस है और इतना वाइड आपका ऑरा है सर. हम लोग ना बहुत वी ऑलवेज गेट इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय व्हाटएवर इज शोन ऑन मीडिया और प्रोबब्ली इंटरव्यूज और व्हाटएवर चैट शोज. In that, often we realize that all these dignitaries and politicians, they don't show any kind of mutual respect for each other, which is always a bad example for youngsters. Sir, how do we deal with such situations? Because okay, as when we grow up, okay, it is easy for us to understand that okay, this is something different. But youngsters, the youth, as well as the students, when they see such kind of debates happening, it is always having a bad impression on them. So, what kind of advice would you like to give to all such kind of situations?
When we were school-going children, we had role model students, teachers.
Yes, sir.
And I have observed when I was in school that two-way traffic, the parents' body and teachers, they have very good rapport.
Yes,
And they were monthly, they were meeting each other, and the parents were taking feeds from teachers regarding their boards, and but that process is missing nowadays. And neither role model teachers we are producing, and neither parents are interested about the education of their boards. So nowadays, I will be speaking truth.
Yes, sir.
The media, whether this is electronic media or print media, majority of media channels are already sold, and they are sold to the rich people. And whatever the rich people want to make the world of their own choice, they are making it. So
Very, very
they
rightly
are
said.
imposing on us. So I think that we should make a what do you say, a movement, and we must convince the electronic print media as well as the journalists that the way you are focusing on the subjects, those are not in the interest of making a healthy society.
Yes, sir.
We must do something good in that direction or approach these people. And if we will be making a approach to them, because we are talking in our own ways, working in bedrooms, drawing rooms, shops, offices, and criticizing the people. But what is wrong and what is right? If we will realize it that this is wrong, and we must approach to the concerned authorities for making it good for the society, on that day we will be able to bring good that media and electronic and print media, and good stories. I think nowadays we are only and only visualizing and reading bad news. Is what the good work is also going on in the parallel way, but those are not being projected. So I think when this good stories and successful stories will come forward in the newspapers and as well as electronic media, so automatically we will have a positive nourishment of our hearts.
थैंक यू सो मच सर. आपने इस क्वेश्चन का बहुत ही सटीक और सही और आई मीन बिल्कुल पारदर्शी उत्तर दिया. आई मीन हम भी यही बात समझते हैं कि जो मीडिया है वो डेफिनेटली फॉर एबीसीडी रीजंस वो नेगेटिव न्यूज या ऐसी न्यूज को ही प्रोपिगेट करते हैं शायद जो कि खरीदी गई है या जो लोगों को प्रभावित करे। तो आपने बड़े अच्छे से हमें समझाया कि उससे कैसे बचना है। सर एक और मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि आजकल के जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं और जो हम लोग प्रोग्राम देखते हैं तो उसमें हमें सब लोग को ना सक्सेस बड़ी जल्दी चाहिए कि हम लोग जल्दी से मतलब सक्सेसफुल हो जाएं थोड़ा सा काम करके ही, चाहे वो ऐप बना के। तो हम बच्चों को ऐसे कैसे समझाएं कि एवरीथिंग कम्स स्लोली, मतलब सहज पके सो मीठा हो, या जो हमारे लिए सक्सेस है या जो उसके डेफिनेशन अलग अलग टाइम के लिए अलग अलग है। इट्स नॉट ओनली मॉनेटरी बेनिफिट बट थिंग्स डोंट हैपन ओवरनाइट। तो शायद आजकल के यूथ में वो पेशेंस नहीं है, तो हम ये बातें उनमें और ये वर्चू उनमें
जी
कैसे ला सकते हैं सर?
देखिए ऐसा है कि जो आप जी जी डिवाइस मांगेगा अभी। हेलो
हेलो
हेलो हेलो, हाँ डिस्ट्रप्शन है प्लीज।
यस
हेलो
सर,
आप
हम
सुन
आपकी
रहे
आवाज
हैं?
सुन पा रहे हैं सर। आप आवाज हम सुन पा रहे हैं सर।
हेलो
हाँ जी सर, हम सुन पा रहे हैं सर आपको।
सुन रहे हैं ना?
हाँ जी सर।
हेलो जी जी जी। अच्छा मेरा जो एक्सपीरियंस है जिस पर मैं काम कर रहा हूँ,
हाँ जी
ये जो अपना हमारे टाइम जो स्टूडेंट्स हुआ करते थे उनको क्लासरूम का तो जो एजुकेशन होती थी क्लासरूम्स में वो तो थी बट उसमें प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस भी जो है वो बहुत जरूरी हुआ करता था। मैं 60s की बात कर रहा हूँ, 70 की बात कर रहा हूँ, 80 90 200 2000 की बात कर रहा हूँ। तो वो उन दिनों में क्या होता था कि उनको प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज भी हुआ करता था। तो उसी नॉलेज को मैंने जो जब देखा तो कंप्यूटर तो बाद में ऐड हुआ हमारे, तो कंप्यूटर के ऊपर और गूगल के ऊपर तो सारे डिपेंड हो जाते हैं। सब कुछ जो है वो गूगल से पूछते हैं और आगे बढ़ते हैं। हमारे टाइम क्या होता था कि मैं अभी यूनाइटेड नेशंस में 3 दफा होके आया हूँ, तो मैंने डिफरेंट यूनिवर्सिटीज में भी थोड़ा बहुत काम किया है, गांधी जी की आइडियोलॉजी को प्रमोट करने की कोशिश की है। तो उसमें क्या होता था कि कुछ यूनिवर्सिटीज में जाके तो उन्होंने कहा कि हमारे बच्चों को आप इंटर्नशिप दीजिए। अब हमने कहा इंटर्नशिप आपको क्या जरूरत है, जो इंग्लैंड के अमेरिका के स्टूडेंट जो हैं वो इंडिया में आएंगे। वो कहते हैं प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज के बगैर जो है हमारे बच्चे सक्सेसफुल नहीं हो सकते। चाहे हम क्लास रूम की इतनी एजुकेशन देते हैं उनको या कंप्यूटर पे वो मास्टर्स भी हो जाएं, लेकिन जब तक उनको प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज नहीं होगा तब तक वो कंप्लीट जो है वो ना एजुकेटेड हो पाएंगे ना अच्छे इंसान बन पाएंगे। तो मुझे लगता है कि जो अपने स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनको जो है वो एक्सपोजर बाहर देना भेजना। और साल के जैसे चाइना में क्या होता था कि जो जब छुट्टियां होती हैं वेकेशंस, तो वो कंट्री साइड लेके चले जाते हैं और वहाँ जो है वो मैक्सिमम जो है वो प्लांटेशन और रूरल डेवलपमेंट और दूसरे प्रोग्राम जो है कम्युनिटी डेवलपमेंट के प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं। तो अगर हम भी ये इंक्लूड करते हैं तो मुझे लगता है कि इससे जो है वो और अच्छा एक इंसान जो है वो बन सकता है। और जब वो एजुकेशन कंप्लीट करेगा तो डायरेक्ट जो है वो ह्यूमैनिटी सर्विस में सक्सेसफुल ग्लोबल सिटीजन बन सकता है।
थैंक यू सर।
जी जी
सर आपसे एक रिक्वेस्ट थी कि आप क्योंकि ये जो आई मीन जो सब काम है इसमें सारे फैकल्टी मेंबर्स हैं पूरे इंडिया से, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट एरिया से। तो एज ए सीनियर पर्सन आप हम फैकल्टी को क्या एडवाइस देना चाहेंगे कि हम लोग अपने वर्किंग में क्या चेंज लाएं जिससे कि और बेटर हम लोग परफॉर्म कर सकें?
यस, ये बहुत जरूरी है। कई लोग जो है वो किताबों की जो एजुकेशन ली है उन्होंने, तो वो जब एक स्टूडेंट या एक टीचर अपने आप को ये कहता है कि मैं बहुत परफेक्ट, अब कंप्लीट परफेक्ट टीचर मैं बन गया हूँ, तो वो उसकी गलती। उसको सारी उम्र सीखना पड़ेगा। मैं 66 ईयर्स का हूँ तो मैं अपने बच्चों से, नेक्स्ट जनरेशन से, एक बड़ी जनरेशन जो है उससे तो मैं सीखता ही सीखता हूँ। 2 जनरेशनें अपने दादाजी से सीखा, अपने पिताजी के से सीखा, और मैं अपने बच्चों से सीखा, और अपने पोते से भी कुछ सीखता हूँ मैं। क्योंकि अगर हम 4 जनरेशन या एट ए टाइम 3 जनरेशंस का एक्सपीरियंस जो है वो लेके चलें, तो मुझे लगता है कि वो सक्सेसफुल इंसान हो सकता है। और डेफिनेटली एक टीचर को महात्मा गांधी को पढ़ना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है उनकी लाइफ। जब तक वो पढ़ेंगे नहीं महात्मा गांधी जी को, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि वो कंप्लीट जो है वो टीचर बन पाएंगे। और एक टीचर जो है, मैं कहता हूँ कि ये जो फैकल्टी मेंबर होता है या टीचर होता है, ये जो है वो बहुत नॉलेजेबल होना चाहिए। क्योंकि एक डॉक्टर जब टीचर ने बना दिया, हालांकि टीचर ही बनाता है ना डॉक्टर को भी, इंजीनियर को भी, सोशल वर्कर को भी, आगे टीचर को भी, प्रोफेसर को भी, लेकिन जो डॉक्टर होता है वो सिर्फ प्रिस्क्राइब करता है मेडिसिन या ऑपरेशन करता है जो उसकी एजुकेशन होगी। लेकिन एक टीचर जो होता है वो ऑलराउंड डेवलपमेंट जो है, अगर उनको पूरा कंसेप्ट है तो एक सक्सेसफुल टीचर जो है वो बन सकता है और अपने आप को क्लेम कर सकता है। तो वो कमी है एक वो जो है वो सादे जो है वो टीचर फैकल्टी मेंबर को पाना। क्योंकि रोल मॉडल टीचर होगा जिसमें क्वालिटीज रोल मॉडल की क्या क्या हो सकती हैं, तो वो आगे रोल मॉडल स्टूडेंट बना सकता है। अगर हम ये कहें कि हमें सिर्फ इंजीनियर ही इंजीनियर बनाने हैं और उनको कहना है कि इंजीनियरिंग करो या डॉक्टर बनो तो अमेरिका चले जाओ, तो जब वो कंसेप्ट देना शुरू कर देंगे हम, तो बच्चे जो है वो, आपने वो अच्छे इंसान नहीं बनाने हैं, आपने प्रोडक्ट बनाना है। जैसे वो अच्छा प्रोडक्ट कोई जो है वो कारखाने में बनता है और उसको फिर स्पेशली बना के पैक करके तो सीधा अमेरिका में भेज देंगे, यूरोप में भेज देंगे। लेकिन ना आपने एक ऐसा इंसान बनाना है जो एक नॉन वायलेंट वर्ल्ड जो है उसको एजुकेट कर पाए। और मैं हमेशा समझता हूँ ये कि अगर जो है वर्ल्ड में पीस आ सकता है तो वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक प्रोफेशन ला सकता है, वो है टीचर। अगर आपको इकॉनमी जो है वो अपनी रिवाइव करनी है, उसको बूस्ट देना है, तो वो ला सकता है टीचर जो है वो इकॉनमी भी रिवाइव कर सकता है। तो जो कुछ भी है इसमें एक अच्छा वर्ल्ड को बनाने के लिए, एक अच्छे, जब वर्ल्ड की बात करते हैं तो दुनिया भी, मुल्क भी उसमें उसी में आ जाते हैं और घर भी उसी में आ जाते हैं। तो मैं समझता हूँ एक अच्छा भविष्य जो बनाना है बच्चे का या शहर का या गांव का या दुनिया का, वो अच्छा टीचर होने बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है। और जब टीचर अच्छे हो जाएं तो मुझे लगता है कि उनकी, आज शोषण भी टीचर्स का बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है, प्राइवेट स्कूल्स में, प्राइवेट कॉलेजेस के अंदर, प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटीज़ के अंदर। क्योंकि जो एक जो है वो एक सैलरी उनको मिलनी चाहिए ऑनरेबल, ताकि वो भी खुश रहें और आगे बच्चों को भी जो है वो अच्छे तरीके से जो है वो पढ़ा पाएँ। जब वो खुद आदमी जो है वो परेशानी ना होगी उसकी फाइनेंशियली, तो वो आगे अपने बच्चों को भी और औरों के बच्चों को भी अच्छे तरीके से पढ़ा सकता है। तो मैं वो भी रिकमेंड करूँगा कि इनका जो है वो ऑनरेरियम भी जो है वो बढ़ना चाहिए, सैलरी भी बढ़नी चाहिए।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच। सपना मैम प्लीज कंटिन्यू।
थैंक यू सो
और कोई?
मच।
ठीक है बेटा, थैंक यू, ग्रेटफुल।
Now I request Nilima ma'am and Bade sir to present gratitude of expression to Dr. S.P.Varma ji. Please ma'am. Nilima ma'am, Bade sir. Yeah. It is showing in the participants list. Nilima ma'am, can you hear me? So I request.
Ma'am, just wait. I'm going to unmute you. Please unmute yourself.
It's unmuted. Thank you so much, Kanika. We were not able to reply to Sapna.
Sorry, ma'am, because there is some limitation from my side, na. So sorry for this inconvenience.
No issues there. No issues there. Sir is there.
Yeah.
हेलो वर्मा जी, नमस्कार।
नमस्कार नमस्कार।
आप बहुत आपने गजब के पॉइंट बताए हैं। नहीं, गांधी ग्लोबल फैमिली के आप प्रेसिडेंट हैं और फिर आप तो यूएनओ के साथ भी जुड़े हुए हो। आपको तो बहुत बड़ा काम करना है। तो अभी छोटा सा ये टोकन ऑफ लव आप एक्सेप्ट कर लीजिए।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू, थैंक यू वेरी मच, ग्रेटफुल।
थैंक यू।
जी जी जी, थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, बड़े sir.
देखिए ऐसा है,
We were in.
बोलना, मैं वर्मा जी की बात सुन रहा था। नई तालीम की बात उन्होंने बीच में लाए थे। नई तालीम जब शुरू हुआ था तो हम वर्धा में थे तब, तो डॉक्टर जाकिर हुसैन जी हमारे साथ बैठ के तकलीफ में सिखाया करते थे। और उस वक्त ये गांधी ग्लोबल फैमिली के जितने भी सदस्य हैं, अगर ये फील्ड में जा करके, जैसे हमारा KIIT के इंस्टीट्यूशन के कई स्ट्रीम्स हैं, सबको मोटिवेट करें जैसे आज आपने किया है, तो ये अगर सिलसिला चलता रहे तो हम नई तालीम को इंट्रोड्यूस कर लेंगे तो वाकई हम लोग बहुत बड़ा काम कर पाएंगे। तो ठीक है, अब हम प्रीचिंग तो कर रहे हैं पर प्रीचिंग से नहीं चलेगा। आपने खुद यही कहा कि प्रैक्टिकल बनना है। आपने उदाहरण दिया चाइना का कि वो चले जाते हैं छुट्टियों में, फील्ड में जाके काम करते हैं। यही काम हमें भी अपने हिंदुस्तान में लाना है। तो आज आपने बड़ा मोटिवेट किया है, आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल टू यू। तो अब हमको चाहिए ये कि जितना गांधी ग्लोबल फैमिली के लोग हैं अब जुड़ जाए संस्थाओं के साथ। और एजुकेशन, आपने खुद ही कहा कि एजुकेशन के बिना कुछ भी पॉसिबल नहीं है। तो एजुकेशन का फील्ड बना हुआ है, सिर्फ उसको थोड़ा सा पॉलिश करना है। पॉलिश करने के लिए आप जैसी शख्सियत मौजूद हैं। अब गुलाम नबी आज़ाद हमारे आए थे KIIT कैंपस में और इतने आपके संपर्क हैं, तो क्या इतना बड़ा मिल करके हम लोग बहुत बड़ी क्रांति ला सकते हैं। और मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा कि आपने इस बात पर जोर दिया कि एजुकेशन के बिना, टीचर को प्रोड्यूस किए बिना हम कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे। और वो ईश्वर की कृपा से हमारा ये फील्ड बना हुआ है, सिर्फ उसके अंदर ऐसे लोगों को जुड़ने की जरूरत है जो सचमुच गांधीयन है। गांधी जी जो भी करते थे प्रैक्टिकल करते थे। आजकल सुब्बाराव जी हैं, वो भी प्रैक्टिकल करने में लगे हुए हैं और हमने तो उनकी तपस्थली भी बना दी है। और आप हैरान होंगे कि हमने सुब्बाराव जी की मूर्ति भी स्थापित कर दी है। तो हम चाहते हैं कि ऐसे लोग जुड़ करके कुछ बड़ी क्रांति का काम करें। एजुकेशन लाइन के बिना हमारा कुछ भी सफल होने वाला नहीं। तो आज आपने यही जोर दिया है, तो मैं समझता हूँ आप अब अपनी टीम को भी इस बारे के मोटिवेट करिए ताकि हमारे साथ जुड़ करके हम कुछ काम करें। और वो भी आपका इंस्टीट्यूशन है, वो खाली हमारा खामरा का नहीं है। आप उसमें जुड़े रहें, आपका भी उसमें अंश है पूरा। तो अब आप मेहरबानी करके अपनी टीम को इसके साथ इन्वॉल्व कर दीजिए। थैंक यू वेरी मच। थैंक यू
So much, sir. Thank you so much, Bade sir. We were indeed privileged to have had an eminent person like Verma ji. We were honored to have listened to your insightful words on the importance of mutual respect and cooperation in our lives, especially at the school level students. You very well answers question and आपने बहुत अच्छे से हमें समझाया importance of teachers कि किस तरीके से teachers जो है वो global level पे changes ला सकते हैं. On behalf of all gathered here, our heartfelt thanks to you, sir. Thank you so much again. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Karthikeyan sir to proceed for further session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sapna ma'am. Good afternoon to all the participants, and I thank you all for being with us. Our next session will be by an eminent journalist and social entrepreneur, Mr. Ashok Kapoor, and he'll be talking about ethics and human values. Mr. Ashok Kapoor, he's a multifaceted personality, and before I invite him to give his talk, I would most humbly try to give you an insight into his profile. He got introduced to the field of journalism at a tender age of 19, and that generated interest in national and international media and communications. Thereafter, for 3 years, he also had the opportunity to work as a freelance journalist for the newspaper and covered many sectors, including education, social, and other for news. Thereafter, in 1998, he plunged into the corporate PR field, first with reviving his integral PR to a national leading PR firm, and then under his own firm, Stella Advisory and Icon PR, making a statement in the infotech and real estate promotions. In 2004, the country's leading Hindi mainline daily Punjab Kesari was created for UP, which he managed under his own firm and held the position as overall in charge for more than 7 years. In pursuance of spiritual understanding and carrying forward the values of our tradition to the new generation, an Indian edition of Hinduism Today is being brought from Hawaii, USA, to be published by Hindu Gyan Samvardhan Trust. A proud Indian at heart, Mr. Ashok has the benefit of experiencing the multifaceted cultural mix of the country with his parents. He has immense belief and appreciation for Indian culture and faith. He has extensively worked with people of all beliefs, regardless of the boundaries of caste and creed, and done extensive coordination with the backward and minority through various social campaigns. He is associated with the Gandhi Global Family. He is associated with We the People, an NGO which was promoted by him in 1993. The rural empowerment program Gramoday Mission is being pursued for national basis under the umbrella of Mahan Bharat Abhiyan to rejuvenate the villages for better living and perspective of our rural dwellers to create a balanced rural-urban connect. He has a lot of associations. He is the treasurer and spokesperson of Gandhi Global Family and also the chairman of Gandhi Global Family Delhi chapter. He is the managing trustee of Shri Yashpal Kapoor Memorial Trust. He is the president of the NGO We the People. He is the chairman planning committee of Mahan Bharat Abhiyan. He is the advisor for Agewell Foundation. He is the member of the Central Advisory Committee of FSSAI. He is the national secretary of Indo-American Friends Group. He is the India advisor of Nepal India Human Resource and Friendship Association. He is the national secretary of All India Small Newspapers Association. He is the trustee and publisher of Hinduism Today magazine through Hindu Gyan Samvardhan Trust, and he is a national vice president of Indian National Trade Union Congress. I request Mr. Ashok Kapoor to please address the audience. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sharma ji. Thank you very much for the very detailed knowledge about what I have been doing in my life. Still a lot to learn and still a lot to gather. As Varma ji was saying earlier, we are on the process and the path of learning. The more we learn, the more we are able to contribute. To start off, I would like to thank B.R. Kamra Sahab, the KIIT, Shyam Agarwal ji, Nilima ji, for having given this opportunity to have some time to interface with you on the topic that has been chosen, which we all tend to live in and abide by. I think the most important aspect of life is as to what is the value that we are living in. And I think it's a pleasure when I have to say that it is today, it is an opportunity to express to the people across and all the participants as to where we all are and what we abide by in our lives. I think to go forward, one of the most important aspects, while I can talk about many factors on this particular issue, I think it's a responsibility of mine as I've come on this forum that I would like to detail out what we are trying to attempt today. And I think then I can express upon a little bit more in detail about the subject matter. If you allow me, I would like to share a presentation with everybody to give a perspective of what the discussion format is today. Kartikeya, if it is okay, I would like to actually do a presentation to start
Please
with.
sir, go ahead. I'll request Kanika ma'am to, I guess you have the rights to share the screen, sir. Please have a look, otherwise I'll request Dr. Kanika.
Appreciate, sir. Thank you. So to start with, I think we all have been focused towards today's thought process with human values, ethics, morals, behavioral sciences, and attitude being the focus of what we are doing. I think it's an opportunity, and I think it's an excellent subject for the participants, because in life, as I think Varmaji mentioned earlier, as we actually walk into our lives, one of the biggest factors that we carry and develop along with ourselves is those particular values on which we all survive, we provide, and we give to the others in our entire life on this earth. And I think it is a very important aspect to understand. While sometimes it does get boring, but I think in life as you proceed, one tends to understand why it is so important. Let me take you to the basics of the values. I think understanding the basic of a value derives the human conditions of its needs, its social interaction, and its survival, because that's where our value definition tends to come from. Qualities, characteristics, ideas about what we feel strong, we create our values from it. Our values affect our decision, goals, and behavior. And I think you all need to understand that is where the generation of a value is getting created. A belief or feeling that someone or something is worthwhile. We are exposed to so many things in our lives, and I think we pick up the ideas from there to understand how I would value something. Values define what is worth, what is beneficial, and what is harmful. I think isn't that what we do in a daily basis life? Values are also standards to guide your actions, judgments, and attitudes. I think the basic of understanding the values will actually give us a little bit of a focus to understand the subject matter. Ethics, one of the most important aspects that we had actually taken on to understand the perspective of where we operate from with regards to our ethical behavior. And as I've tried to mention over here, ethics are moral philosophy, is that which systemizes, defends, and recommends concepts, right and wrong behavior. ये सही है, ये गलत है. I think that definition कहीं से तो आता ही है, and I think that's what we have defined for ourselves as we approach that factor. Ethics deals with questions at all levels. हम हर एक मुद्दे को, हर एक क्वेश्चन को, हर एक इशू को अपने एक एथिकल फैक्टर से जो है उसका हिसाब लेते हैं, उसको वैल्यू करते हैं, and I think which is what derives the basic character of what a human being, as we say, कि वो कहते हैं भाई ये आदमी जो है कुछ और प्रकार का है और वो कुछ और प्रकार का है. सबसे ज्यादा आधार बनता है तो एक उसके एथिकल बिहेवियर से बनता है, जिससे आप असेसमेंट करते हैं. जैसे आप दूसरे की करते हैं, याद रखिए आपकी भी असेसमेंट हो रही है. So your ethics is what derives your way of being. I think when you talk about ethics, I would like to take a little bit more focus on the ethics, because a lot needs to move from there. Ethics, the term ethics actually comes from the word ethos, and when we derive ethos, the Greek word of ethos actually talks about what are the customs, the habits, the character, which is what ethos in a Greek word defines. And that's exactly what is encapsulated in what ethics for us today is as an understandable criteria. Naitikta or achar vichar, ethics versus morals. In most cases, when any of us does something, we try to act according to what society believes is right. More often, we listen closely to what our own beliefs about right or wrong are telling us. Even if they are different from society's views, these two have to do with ethics and morals. तो उसकी अगर स्पष्टीकरण करें तो ethics means refers to the rules that a social system provides us with, and morals are our own principles. Morals, a moral is a lesson in a story or in a real life. तो हम लोग जो है अपने ethics को उन morals में से जो है आप अपना ज्ञानात लेते हैं, you attract those, you imbibe those aspects, and those morals, values that you live with define yourself in what the ethics that the social society is actually understanding. And I think understanding this very basic will actually give you a certain perspective of why a human being is assessed and how they are assessed is because of what moral value and what ethical values are we living with. Taking it further, this all brings us to this very defined macro thought process of behavioral sciences. And behavioral sciences, as it says, deals with primarily with human action, often seeks to generalize about human behavior. तो मेरे ख्याल से एक संसारिक ज्ञान जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं, the way of life that we all have. Behavioral sciences actually encapsulates that and devises us, gives us an analysis of what a human, animal, a basis of functionality of a person is, और वो क्यों ऐसे behave कर रहा है. तो एक वो आधार देता है through what we are talking about as behavioral sciences. But by the end of the day, we all know attitude is everything. हम लोग कहते हैं ना, attitude है भैया उसका. So attitude comes from where? And I think that's what we all need to understand. A weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. So मैं अपना attitude ठीक करो, ज़्यादा भी मत करो, कम भी मत करो. और वो ज़्यादा और कम का आधार जो है, that actually comes from the basis of what are your moral values, what is that ethical behavior that you live with. Your attitude is going to define a certain way of being that you are. And I think that is what takes you to the next level of realization, that if you have the right attitude, as it said, have a right attitude, the aspect of the understanding of a person completely changes. Balanced life. बहुत से आधार हैं जिंदगी के, but when it comes to being a way of life, one of the most important aspect is obviously balance. हम लोग अपनी जिंदगी में बहुत से ऐसे कारनामे करते हैं, we tend to go to the lopsidedness, rightist बोलते हैं, leftist बोलते हैं, centralized बोलते हैं, but by the end of the day, as we are always juggling with so many aspects in our life, the most important aspect comes to is, are we able to manage everything in the most appropriate manner, which is useful to us and to the society that we are living in. Hence, the balance in your life becomes the most important aspect. And balance can be achieved with many certain aspects, many certain thought processes, which are actually governed by your values. And those are the ones which actually make you do a stability of life, achieve that what you are wanting to do, be more proactive. Because if you have the balance, you will have more expansion. The minute you are more lopsided, you will have a lopsided view also. Hence, it is very important to say that whenever you are defining your own self, वो कहते हैं ना, meditation करिए, deep and breathly, loosen out yourself, ease up. Why are you doing this? Because you're trying to bring in a balance between your heart and your mind. That's when you are able to actually approach in what you're doing as a value definition. But why are human values so important? Our values actually come with that definition. The words and the actions that we do. It is what describes us. I think if you read the slide that I have tried to say to you, it actually is encompassing everything that is readable about a person, about who you are. I think if you stand in front of the mirror, which everybody must be doing every morning, look in the mirror and ask the guy who's in the mirror, what is the value that you are living? And what is your strongest value for the day today? I think you will come to know the answer because you are the answer. And it cannot be described by anybody. And human values have been defined in a certain manner so that there is a life in balance. And I think that is why these are perspectives of where your moral values are derived from, your ethic definitions come from, and how you would like to live your life, make it more purposeful as you go ahead. I think one of the biggest examples that this country has given to the world is Mahatma Gandhi. And as he has done so many aspects, as he has shared his life with all of us, I think the justice, peace, non-violence, tolerance, freedom, when faced with certain situations in lifetime, exhibit an attitude. हम सबकी जिंदगी में ये आधार आते हैं. He made his life as an example for us. And I think अगर ह्यूमन वैल्यू की एक आधार आपको अगर समझनी है, पूरे विश्व में ये जो है प्रस्तावित है कि महात्मा गांधी से बेहतर आज की तारीख में कोई एक ऐसा एग्जाम्पल नहीं दे पाया. And that is why he is known as the father of the nation, as he is known Mahatma all across the world, because he created something for the future. We might also feel that he was talking a little beyond, but to be very frank, I think time will tell, as it has already told us. When everything fails, it is the way of Mahatma which actually is taken by people. There is peace and quality then derived only when people settle down and violence gets over. I think हम लोगों के बीच में कुछ ऐसे बहुत से ऐसे लोग रहे जिन्होंने सबसे बड़ा तो राम राज्य का एक आधार हम लोगों को सुनने को मिलता है when we talk about Lord Ram, Mahatma Gandhi himself, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, बहुत से नाम हैं. I think across the world, if we take on examples, you will find endless names who actually have followed those values. And I think if I put it into what in the last para, if you can all concentrate, benevolence incarnate, chivalrous and valorous, but always gentle and caring, compassionate towards the weak and the vulnerable, and magnanimous towards the enemy, even when he chastises them for what is wrong. एक बहुत थोड़ी गंभीर बात है. It's a discussion of a lot of in-depth understanding, but I think these perspectives are the one which strengthen us, which make us what we are, which make us realize what we can be. And I think the more we relate with these aspects, the more we are able to understand that we have something more that we can do, something more that we can achieve, and the values devise our way and our path and the way of our lives. Values को अगर कोई एक्शन से हम लोग रिलेट करें तो जो हम कह रहे थे कि लॉ क्रिएट होता है, the law actually comes from those aspects. Religious law, I think we all are followed, globally we are followed by. हमारे यहाँ पे मनुस्मृति लिखी गई थी. मनुस्मृति में से जो है the law that we abide by in India, the Hindu law, actually has been extracted from the Manusmriti because there is a governance that has to be done. और अगर if there is a community, it has to be governed, there has to be a guideline. A guideline cannot come from the mind. A guideline is something which actually is a way of life which has been put together and it has been created, and abide by this and you will be more responsible and you will be in the righteous state of living. So I think everybody somewhere or the other has used it. Christians use it, Jewish use it, Islamic use it, Hindus use it. We all have devised our values and created into actions to laws that we follow today. I think not to define and not to give away, our greatest ability as human is not to change the world, but to change ourselves. And I think Mahatma Ji anyway said it in many words that you need to be the change. You need to have your definition of understanding of the values, the ethics that you would like to live by, the definition of service that you would like to give, And if you have that balance that you are able to create, your definition and understanding can always be because you are talking to your own self. When you talk to your own self, you actually create and more an understanding about yourself. When you're talking to somebody else, you can take young. We go to the college, we go to school right now also. I think I'm transferring something as a thought process to you. You can listen to me, you might not listen to me. But somewhere in life, examples and happenings will happen where you will be able to imbibe something with you, which will actually create that strength, that understanding. And that is when the human consciousness actually gets increased. Where does it all come from? I think this old definition comes from either God and religion. It comes from the good that is happening around you, the bad that is happening around you. It is the political power that is actually being experienced by you. And that brings alive many likes and dislikes, which actually creates either the definition of how you agree with the right or the wrong and how you want to be placed in your life with God. But then by the end of the day, today or tomorrow or day after, we all, somewhere in our life, we always say that the minute you do connect with your own self, connecting with your own self is connecting with God itself. And if you connect with yourself, you are able to understand that what definition of values you would like to be in a given circumstance. Decisions are sometimes very hard. Values help us in taking decisions. It cannot be everything. It actually, believe it or not, but ethics and values also help us in pinpointing a disagreement. And that is something that you develop between your own selves, keeping in mind the level of awareness that you are able to experience. I think, given the perspective of what we are trying to share with each other today, the core exercise of what we can do is actually relate to what are the values that I am living with. And I think that will give a birth to an understanding, a definition of how you are going to lead your life, what you would like to do as a person, as a student, as a teacher, a father, a mother, an employee, a boss, whichever role that you get in life. By the end of the day, if you read about people, you read because they have had some character and they had some values that they followed in their lives and they provided the service from that point of view. I have an example today which I follow, and I will not keep it aside because I have him live on with me, and I'm blessed that I have his presence. Is B.R. Kamra sir, who actually has lived his life in that fashion. We imbibe a lot many values from him, and you all are blessed that he has the presence. You have his presence to actually learn more and more with him being present with you all the time. I thank you very much. If anything else that I can relate from here onwards, would look forward to.
Wait, Kartikeya sir, just a minute.
Yes, please. You can discontinue my sharing.
Yes, you can unmute yourself, Kartikeya sir.
Yeah, it's done. Thank you so much, sir. Actually, there was a technical hassle. I was not able to unmute myself because the host had muted everyone. It's always a pleasure to listen to you, and your communication has a different contemporary style. So I feel more happy whenever I'm talking to you. I have a mix of questions, and I'll put that forward. Actually, in all your talk, you have talked about ethics and values. So we all as Indians, what is your perception? Because you have traveled and you have worked with different organizations, and you had multiple organizations, maybe in India also and abroad also. So, as far as my understanding goes, we probably globally are considered to be ethical, but whatever is portrayed in our media, I think I posed the same question to Varma sir also. It reflects something which is towards the negative side. So, is there a difference in these two perceptions, or please enlighten us about it?
I think expressing my thoughts upon this issue. In India, I would say, with the kind of knowledge that we have, and over so many years, I think with the Vedas being a certain guideline to us, the basis of ours is so entrenched and so deep that there is a certain guideline that has been given to us over the generations. And I think we all have grown up with a certain ideation, a certain guideline of our parents, a certain experiences of what they have been. And I think, as Mr. Varma mentioned before me, generation to generation, we have continued to learn, and we are learning from what the new generation is actually experiencing and trying to imbibe them with this. So when you say, is there a certain argument on that? There is bound to be an argument. I think because we are experiencing a massive change from where we were in our conventional systems of learning, of experiencing. Today, we are not, even right now, Samaji, while I'm talking to you, everybody is in their own space, at their own homes, while we are talking and interfacing, something that would have happened inside the hallway, concentrated on what we were trying to do. But today, it has given us a global achievement. And when you talk about an open, expanded availability, many factors tend to come into place. When they do that, obviously there are going to be many thought processes which are going. So we have this period right now. And I think in the past 5-6 months, all thanks to the pandemic globally that has happened, we all have gone onto our rooms and onto our bedrooms, trying to function and do our activities, either being alone, but being with you connectively over the digital space. Now, these changes obviously are the ones which, in a certain manner of community, of what ethics in a community would be and what ethics and values should be with regards to the changing format, are bound to get debated. So there would be options, there would be comments, there would be analysis in this changing phase. Many thought processes are going to come, but by the end of the day, sir, when we are talking about interfacing, we all are here to understand our own definition of the value. And I think when everybody individually realizes that value, you might read anything, you might see news on any aspect, you might hear socially, on social media, any aspect, but the final call is, what do you think about it? Because that's based on your own value. So I think in the outside world, there are bound to be, and there should be, many debates and thought processes. Those should be listened upon, but in a balanced manner, which will actually give your own viewpoint and make a person a stronger decision maker.
Thank you so much. I invite Dr. Kanika to ask the next question, and thereafter Madam Sapna. Meanwhile, I would like to request the participants, in case they have a question, they can type it or they can raise their hand and ask the question directly. Over to you, Kanika ma'am.
Thank you, Kartikeya. Thank you so much, sir. Namaskar, sir. There is a question from the participant. He wrote, a job needs an attitude. What's the attitude according to you? Knowledge is must, but what's actually a attitude needed in job or in personal life?
Excellent. As I was talking about attitude earlier in one of the slides, I think everybody talks about have a positive attitude. So to start the reply, yes, have a positive attitude. So when you say a positive attitude, what does it pertain to? A positive attitude is a person's character or what the person feels in time of stress, activity, happiness, or any kind of a loss that he experiences. An attitude makes a person's reaction come from that thought process. So when you say, what is the attitude for a job? In life, the importance is to have a positive attitude. Because every single step that you take, you don't know what you're going to hit, but you are sure of where you want to go. I think that is what drives you forward. And if you have that attitude of positivity, that understanding of what you feel that you are able to do and are sure of, automatically the attitude will show. If you are hiding something, you are bound to create a picture which is not going to be the right picture. People will see through it. And when they see through, that's when people turn around and say, hey, bande ka attitude theek nahi. Because you are doing something which you are not. And that is, I think, the identification of what a person is all about. Be yourself, and you will be in the right attitude. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't copy somebody else. Be in the space of who you are. Represent yourself. Be positive as a positive thinker, and you will get achievements. I don't think anybody can then stop you in life.
True, sir. Very true. Thank you so much, sir. There is one more question from the participant side. Is attitude necessary for personal order?
Kanika, can you repeat that?
Is attitude necessary for personal order? So question from Rachindra Narayan Das ji. So I don't know. This is the only matlab he wrote in the chat box.
That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. I think I got the understanding. It is very, very much. I think everybody of us, we are living with certain attitude in our lives. All our moral values, our understandings create our attitude. And in a personal order, as you very mentioned, I think in the life that we are all dealing ourselves, if we are going to get swayed with people's thought processes, with people's guidelines, and not have our own grounding and our own attitude to relate to, obviously I would be doing something which is not in the appropriate manner, which is, I'm going to throw out something which would be so different that it is going to affect everybody around me. So I think keeping a balance, keeping the resemblance, it becomes most important for us, first of all, to understand that if this is how I am going to be, my attitude automatically makes everybody either comfortable, either very angry, either very aggressive, because that's the way I am behaving. So what I am doing is a reflection of me. As we say, whoever you are, it's a reflection of you. So if I am being in some manner, I'm going to also face it from somebody else. So it automatically shows keeping ourselves in the most positive, appropriate attitude actually makes the environment around us that much equitable, that much positive.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I invite Dr. Sapna Rana that she can continue for the session.
Thank you so much, sir. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
Sir, as an inspiration, I would like to ask a personal question. I mean, you have mentioned, and you have a long list of achievement you did, and you are doing a lot. So, what, according to you, is the most important human value, and why?
To start off with, Sapna, first thing that I would like to say is, I hope I was doing more. There is a lifetime, and I think in our lifetime, there is a lot of time. It is only dependent upon the person of how they want to utilize that time. And I think to all the participants, I would like to say that first thing, don't shy away from anything. What comes up front for you, even if you can contribute maybe a half an hour or an hour to do something for the community and service, do it. Because your half an hour and 1 hour is going to make such a big difference to somebody you don't even know that. So I think it is us who actually derive ourselves from where we are. As far as the definition of the human values are concerned, I think if you frankly ask me, Sapna, defining one human value, I think we'll be doing injustice to what a definition of a person is. It is a wholesome. A human values, I think anybody who wants to understand human value, I think the Bible, the dictionary, the reference book, whatever you might like to go to, I think has been presented to us by Mahatma Gandhi as his life. It actually derives that what a value of life is all about for a person. When we talk about a human value definition, I think the basics of, as I said earlier also, the basics of tolerance, the basics of loving the other person, the basics of keeping a certain balance of your own life, valuing the other person. I think there are some aspects of a human value which you cannot take out one or two and say that this is what I'm going to be doing. Because life is not a single portion, it is a wholesome. And I think that wholesome might be varying in various percentages, no doubt about it. I have my own percentage in the definition of those identified values. But likewise, it changes from everybody. But they are with everyone. And I think the more you are able to make it bigger and better, the more you are able to define yourself in the definition of a valued system. So I would say that I would not like to define and pick out one value, but I would say you want to achieve something in life, go for the wholesome. Don't ever go for half of
it. Very well said, sir. Now it's a request, sir. आप अपना screen unshare कर दीजिए.
I'm trying to do that. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to do that. I'm just on full screen.
कार्तिक सर अपने आप को अनम्यूट कर लीजिए.
Yeah, can you do it from there, please? Because I'm not able to get out of my
Okay,
screen.
I'll just try, sir. I'll just try.
Please, if you can kindly do that. Okay, I think I got it.
Now it's okay.
Technology, you're still learning technology.
Now Sapna ma'am. Oh, Karthik sir, could you please continue the session?
Yeah, I'll continue. I mean, we wanted some more time with you, but we know that your time is too precious. But still, I thank you so much from the core of the heart and from the entire organizing team and from on behalf of the entire KIIT family for sparing your precious time and coming and sharing your thoughts with us. We will always value your presence, and I would really look forward that some fine day you come and talk to the students also, because you can be a very good youth icon and you always remain away from limelight, I guess. It's too busy with all your engagements. That's true.
Okay, there's a karma karna chahiye, so I think if you are doing what you're supposed to do, everything else will happen.
कर्म करना चाहिए, बट देन यू नो कभी कभी जो आपकी खुशबू है कहीं और भी थोड़ी दिन मिल जाए लोगों को, तो दैट वुड बी मच बेटर.
वो कहते हैं सर, पुरानी कहावत है कि जो है गुलाब जब महकता है तो आदमी खुद जाता है वहां तक. तो आशा है कि life will give us an experience also of that. So thank you very much for these words. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I request Kanika ma'am to please share the expression of gratitude, a humble token of love from our side, sir.
Sure, sir. Just a minute.
Kanika ma'am, shall I request Bade sir to do it?
Yes, or either you invite Dr. S.S. Agarwal or Bade sir. Both. You invite both of them.
Yeah. So I invite Bade sir as well as Dr. S.S. Agarwal, Director General, to please present this token of love from our side and token of gratitude from our side. डीजी सर.
सर आप अपने आप को अनम्यूट कर लीजिए अग्रवाल सर. Agarwal sir, kindly unmute yourself.
Yeah, now
Yes,
I can.
sir.
Actually,
Yes,
the control is with you.
sir.
So,
Little bit requirement is this. Now
oh
time.
yes.
Yeah.
वेल सर, हम किन शब्दों में आपका धन्यवाद अर्पण करें? इतना सारगर्भित, इतना महत्वपूर्ण और इतना उद्देश्यपूर्ण भाषण आपने दिया आज हम सबको प्रेरित करने के लिए। हम आपके बहुत बहुत आभारी हैं। क्योंकि आप KIIT से तो जुड़े हुए हैं और बड़े सर से इतना जुड़े हुए हैं, और जो गांधी जी के वैल्यूज हैं और ये सब, आप यहाँ के प्रेसिडेंट हैं हरियाणा चैप्टर के, तो अब इन शब्दों को हम क्या बताएं। लेकिन आपने जो एक मैसेज आज दिया, जो मैं समझ रहा हूँ कि जितने भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं उनके लिए लास्ट में जो आपने एक मैसेज दे दिया कि हम अपने आप को समझें और अपने आप को बदलें, और आप खुद अपने को बदलेंगे। जो गांधी जी ने कहा भी था, द चेंज यू विश टू हैपन यू शुड चेंज योरसेल्फ। तो इससे बड़ी क्या बात हो सकती है? और अगर यही हम अनुसरण करते रहें तो शायद अपने आप को भी अच्छा बनाएंगे और अपने देश को भी महान बताएंगे। सर, ये इससे स्मॉल एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ ग्रेटिट्यूड फ्रॉम आवर साइड, काइंडली एक्सेप्ट इट। थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।
बड़े सर।
अशोक जी, मैं आपको देखकर बहुत खुश हो रहा हूँ और आपकी मैच्योरिटी ऑफ थॉट्स बहुत इम्प्रेसिव रहे हैं, और आपने जो भी मोटिवेशनल आपने बात किए हैं मैं समझता फॉलो करेंगे सभी। तो मैं SP वर्मा जी से भी यही कह रहा था कि कितनी अच्छी आपने एक परिवार बनाया हुआ है गांधी ग्लोबल फैमिली का, और ये सारा अगर KIIT के साथ जुड़ करके हम काफ़ी रेवोल्यूशन ला सकते हैं। और आज बहुत ज़रूरत भी है, ह्यूमैनिटी की बात कर रहे हैं, जो भी कर रहे हैं, तो हम लोग बहुत बड़ा काम कर सकते हैं, और आज जिसकी बड़ी सख्त ज़रूरत भी है। और एजुकेशन के बिना होगा नहीं। बाई चांस ये एजुकेशनल सेटअप हुआ पड़ा है, इसको अपने हाथ में ले लीजिए, किसी की अलग चीज़ प्रॉपर्टी नहीं है, गांधी ग्लोबल फैमिली का ही इसको अपना पार्ट बना लीजिए, और इसमें आगे हमको बढ़ने का आप भी मौका लीजिए, मौका हमें भी मिल जाए। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
काइंड ऑफ यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच। थैंक यू टू एवरीबॉडी।
थैंक यू सो मच सर।
भी आप एक्सेप्ट कर लीजिएगा
सर। थैंक यू सर, काइंड ऑफ।
I now request Sapna ma'am to please invite our next esteemed speaker.
Thank you so much, sir. Good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Dr.Rachna Sharma. A philanthropist and a researcher, Dr. Rachna Sharma has over 20 years of teaching experience. She is presently associated with KIIT College of Education. She is NET qualified and doctorate in education. She has done her research in the areas of adolescent adjustment, life skills, mental health, and empowerment of adolescent girls, especially in rural India. Dr. Rachna Sharma has published many papers in renowned international as well as national journals. She has been facilitated as Best Faculty Award by KIIT College of Education. She also received Distinguished Alumni Award in 2015 by KIIT College of Education. In 2012, Dr. Rachna got Excellence Award for her outstanding work and efforts by Coordination Committee of Public Schools. She has recorded lectures for SWAYAM, Prabha DTA channel on teachers education and conducted various lectures and workshops for students and faculties. It's our pleasure to hear her on very interesting topic, education as conceived in Bhagwad Gita. Without taking much time, I would like to hand over the session to you, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am. Ma'am, please unmute you. I think Kanika, ma'am, please.
Yeah, I am already giving her access.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ma'am, if you wish, I can make you the host for a proper video presentation and other things.
नहीं, it's okay, ma'am. क्योंकि उसमें थोड़ा सा मुझे दिक्कत हो सकती है होस्ट बनने में.
Okay, thank you.
So, is it visible? My screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Jai Shri Krishna, Namaskar to all. Thank you, Sapna ma'am, for nice introduction. Before starting the talk, I must thanks to the management of KIIT, our Director General, Professor S.S. Agarwal, our Registrar, and my beloved mentor, Dr. Nilima Kamara, convener and the organizers of this program, for giving me this opportunity to speak on this platform. Our academia is aware of the educational theories and thoughts developed in the West. However, we have no adequate information about our own historical and cultural thoughts in relation to education, in spite of their importance and comprehensiveness. And I feel this is the reason that AICTE has taken this initiative to give an insight into human values and ethics. We need to realize that the Vedic philosophy and our religious scriptures were very important to develop a multi-dimensional understanding of life and universe. Being a teacher educator, I came across various Eastern and Western schools of philosophy and understood how these philosophical schools influence the philosophy of education. In this presentation, I'm going to share these topics, concept and aims of education, curriculum, methods of teaching, role and qualities of teacher and students, concept of moral education, discipline. At the end, I will show a short video, then we'll take question answers. So, though it's a very difficult and deep thought, I will try to speak on educational implications of Bhagwad Gita today. Means how the teachings of Bhagwad Gita can be implicated in our schools and higher education institutions to achieve the goal of making our children a better human being and to have a progressive society. So Bhagwad Gita literally means the Lord's song. That is the philosophical discourse of Lord Krishna to persuade the reluctant Arjun to fight. It is contained in Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata, written by Vedvyas, consisted of 700 verses in 18 chapters, dealing with philosophical thought and action. It begins with a direct conversation between Arjun and the Supreme Divine, the Lord Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is a universal scripture applicable to people of all temperaments and for all times, and is considered to be the greatest contribution of India to the world. It tries to build up a philosophy of karma based on Gyan and supported by Bhakti in a beautiful manner. And most importantly, the Bhagavad Gita shows the way to live a spiritual come material life consequently. Now, if we see the concept of education according to the Indian philosophy, then according to Rig Veda, education is that which makes a man self-reliant and selfless. As today, our respected Prime Minister Modi ji is motivating our youth, young generation to become Atmanirbhar or self-reliant. This is the meaning of education which was perceived in Rig Veda. According to Upanishad, education is that whose end product is salvation. And salvation seems to be the purpose of teaching of Bhagavad Gita. Every human.
Rachna, I'm sorry to interrupt you. आप अपना screen F5 करके full screen कर लीजिए.
Okay.
Yes, it is okay.
एक मिनट मैम. I think this is fine with me.
Okay. Okay. No problem.
I'm getting confused with that. I think it is okay. So, according to Upanishad, education is that whose end product is salvation. And salvation seems to be the purpose of teaching of Bhagwad Gita. Every human being in this world is in need of salvation from the type of experience they are gaining. Like students in school need salvation from fear, terror, and punishment of teachers and pressure from parents. Other people involved in different activities are in need of salvation from violence, conflict, pride, ego, tension, poverty, ignorance, etc. And the sick are in need of salvation from disease and older people from death. This is the simple meaning which can be understood of salvation from a common man perspective. And according to sage Yagvalka, education is that which makes a man of good character and useful for the world. And Swami Vivekananda said education is manifestation of divine perfection already existing in man. And by education, I mean enabling an all-round drawing out of the best in child and man, body, mind, and spirit, said by Mahatma Gandhi. As we already have heard the thoughts of Mahatma Gandhi, especially the educational thoughts given by the previous speakers. So he emphasized on the all-round development, or we can say the three dimensions of the human personality, that is physical, intellectual, and spiritual. Don't you feel that we are still struggling to achieve this type of education where we could achieve a holistic development of a child, manifest the divine perfection already existing in a child, which in turn him into a self-reliant, selfless, a person possessing good moral character, useful for the world, and ultimately strive to achieve salvation. And the Bhagavad Gita is known as the instructional module. The philosophy of life and psychology obviously has the meaning of education. We may derive the true meaning of education in chapter 18, verse 20, through the virtuous knowledge, that is Sattvic Gyan, as emphasized by the Lord Krishna. Sarvabhuteshu yanikam bhavam avyapam ikshate avibhaktam vibhakteshu taj jnanam vidhi satvikam. Virtuous knowledge is that through which we perceive unity in diversity and sense the Brahma, that is God or Parmeshwar, in all the creatures on this earth. True education would provide children not only an intellectual stimulation, but also a real purpose in life. We may also refer verse 56 of chapter 2, which means that one whose mind remains undisturbed amidst misery, who does not crave for pleasure, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady wisdom. So according to philosophy of Gita, the state when a human is free from the three rags, that is lust, anger, and fear, is the state of attainment of knowledge and wisdom. और अभी हम क्या देखते हैं कि हमारी युवा पीढ़ी अपनी इंद्रियों को ही संतुष्ट करने में लगी हुई है. They are craving for pleasure only and they are too much attached to the material belongings. कोई एक इच्छा ना पूरी होने पर उनका गुस्सा या उनका जो रिएक्शन होता है वो देखने लायक होता है. छोटी छोटी परेशानियां अगर आ जाएं तो उसका सामना भी वो ठीक से कई बार नहीं कर पाते हैं. So in Bhagwad Gita, next verse also says that is of chapter 257, a state when achievement and failure, profit and loss, joy and sorrow can be perceived in equal terms is a state of the fullest satisfaction or the end state of desires. यानी हम बहुत ज्यादा सुख में अत्यधिक रोमांचित, अत्यधिक खुश ना हो, दुख आने पर बहुत ज्यादा दुखी ना हो, वो जो एक स्टेट आती है, स्टेबल स्टेट, वो ही फुलेस्ट सेटिस्फेक्शन की एक स्टेट होती है. एंड दैट इज द ट्रू एजुकेशन. Therefore, we may say that education is the process of performing one's own duties for the attainment of peace, joy, satisfaction, and salvation, being rid of the lust, anger, and fear with steady mind and wisdom. Education is not only getting the certificates and degrees. The Gita provides very useful and practicable contents for education that can address the problems related with action, salvation, and wisdom. Even though the Bhagavad Gita was created on battlefield before the commencement of war, its relevance is present context is still meaningful and considerable. It is deep in thought and too inspirational. The battlefield represents our body, where an intense, unending battle is going between good and evil forces. And in order to formulate the aims of education, the divine teacher, Lord Krishna, has not imparted his wisdom to his student as mere dictation like others, as we teachers do, that we go to the class and dictate and lecture the students and come out of the class. Gita answer the why of such education. The human child in the world is not a tabula rasa or an empty being. Gita believes this. He inherits certain tendencies, instincts, tendencies of character, mental dispositions from his past life, as we call them as sanskara. हर आत्मा ने कई जन्म लिए हैं. हर जन्म में उसके माता पिता, उसके परिवार अलग अलग हैं, परिस्थितियां अलग अलग हैं, अनुभव अलग अलग हैं, इसलिए उनका स्वभाव और संस्कार अलग अलग होता है. तो कोई भी मनुष्य अच्छा या बुरा नहीं है. उसको जो संस्कार और स्वभाव मिला है उसकी वजह से वो दूसरों से अलग है. तो पेरेंट्स गिव टू चाइल्ड ओनली हिज बॉडी, but his physical apparatus and soul's doing are his own. This explains individual difference. The Bhagavad Gita reconciles metaphysics and physics, nivritti and pravritti, heredity and environment of man, and gives the principles of education, clearly indicating that education is spiritual social necessity. Spiritual necessity as well as social necessity. It is a value and its structure cannot be built on sand. ऐसे ही हवा में आप एजुकेशन का स्ट्रक्चर नहीं बना सकते. हमें स्पिरिचुअल एम्स भी अचीव करने हैं और सोशल एम्स भी अचीव करने हैं थ्रू एजुकेशन. तो as all know that Gita teaches us these marks, bhakti yoga, karma yoga, and jnana yoga. So keeping in mind these three facts or these three teachings of Gita, I'm trying to discuss the educational objectives, that what objectives should have education according to the Bhagavad Gita. The first objective of education should realization of importance of duties in life, that is related to karma yoga. We should realize the importance of duties. One can be happy only by establishing a balance between one's rights and duties. Krishna tells Arjun that nothing is greater than performance of one's duty. Swadharma Palan जिसे हम कहते हैं. It is very necessary to emphasize this viewpoint before the student of these days. We need to teach them that what is the importance of duty or Swadharma Palan. If we teachers and our students develop this attitude toward life, that we have to perform our duties religiously, and then our education system, and I must say that the entire society will change, and this very earth will become a heaven. So how we should perform our duties as per our dharma, with controlled mind and steady wisdom. And what is steady wisdom? This state may be stable emotional condition, stability in thinking and action, freedom, and a self-directed state. All these states are essential for holistic development of an individual and can be interpreted as education, because through education we want to achieve holistic development of a child. Steady wisdom itself is taken as motivation for right action, and it can also be conceived as a concept of education. We need to understand that materialistic pleasure is temporary and can be lost anytime, but steady wisdom never drags us towards loss. Bhagwad Gita emphasizes on combination of mental, physical, and spiritual, that is socio-cultural paths of education, which are very much focused aspect in modern psychology as well. Second aim of education is coordination between individual and social aims. So Arjun got mentally depressed when he saw his relatives with whom he has to fight. He was lost between his individual freedom and the social responsibility. His individual freedom was to fight or not to fight. Krishna tries to help Arjun to see the point that he, means Arjun, cannot kill anyone's soul which resides in Brahma himself. Krishna helps him to see the whole epitomized in one individual Krishna, that is God himself. The social responsibility warranted his participation in the battle for punishing the evildoers, for establishing peace in the land. Krishna impresses upon him to sacrifice his individual freedom and take up the Gandhi for annihilating the wicked persons and their allies. Thus, we may say that, according to Gita, one of the chief ideals of education should be to affect a coordination between the individual and social aspects of things. Here we may mention the definition of education by Rigved, that being self-reliant and selfless. We can also look at the definition of Yagyavalkya, that education is that which makes a man useful for the world, means the benefit of the world, benefit of the society comes first, then the individual's benefit. So through education, we should train our children to work for their own welfare and welfare of the society. Otherwise, what would happen? You can see that so many educated people are indulged in criminal activities. This is not education. People are educated, they are indulged in undesirable behavior, social behaviors, and criminal activities. This should not be education. Something is missing there. We will talk further about this. Then the next aim of education, according to Gita, is development of virtual knowledge that may be correlated with the Jnana Yoga. मैं अभी philosophical aspect पे बात नहीं कर रही हूँ कि what is कर्म योग और ज्ञान योग and bhakti योग. So virtuous knowledge develop करना may be the another objective according to the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna reveals how spiritual knowledge is received by disciplic succession and the reason and nature of his descent into the material worlds. He also explained the path of action and knowledge, as well as the wisdom regarding the supreme knowledge, which results at the culmination of two paths. If we give some psychoanalytic insight in this objective. So we can take another example from Gita. Krishna says, the sage does not hug desires when they arise, nor does he agitate the mind to create them. He is indifferent to them. Arjun intervenes and asks, if you think the path of understanding, yani Jnana Yoga, is better than the path of action, yani Karma Yoga, then why do you urge me to fight? I think you have only confused me by this teaching. Tell me for certain which path I should follow. And in our daily life, we also encounter such situations when we got confused on which path we should go. So to Arjun's question, Krishna replies, one may lead a life of contemplation or a life of action. Both properly done lead one to enlightenment. But one must understand that freedom from work is not gained by abstaining from work. By mere renunciation of work, you do not attain perfection. It is impossible to maintain even one's life without doing some work. According to Gita, action is life, inaction is death. We cannot abstain from work. So, Bhagwad Gita represents the unique synthesis of action, devotion, and knowledge. Our students like Arjuna and all of us suffer from ignorance of virtuous knowledge. In Gita, Krishna remarks Arjun's ignorance and motivates him towards performing his duties. From this position, we may take up the idea that the ideal of education should be to remove ignorance and to provide the virtuous knowledge to our students. Then the next objective is development of intellectual and logical ability. Arjun expresses his doubt regarding the utility of battle. His doubt is at the root of preachings of Gita. Krishna employs his intellectual and logical ability for removing Arjun's doubt. What we do when our students come come to us with their doubts, do we deal them as Krishna? Do we have that much patience to listen them? To listen their doubts patiently? क्या इतनी हमारे अंदर है सहन शक्ति? कृष्ण ने अर्जुन की इतनी ज्यादा बात सुनी और पहला अध्याय पूरा सिर्फ अर्जुन ही बोलते रहे कि हमारे अंदर एज अ टीचर इतनी सहन शक्ति है, इतना पेशेंस है कि व्हेन आवर स्टूडेंट्स कम टू अस टू सॉल्व देयर प्रॉब्लम्स, टू सॉल्व देयर डाउट्स, तो हम उनको कृष्ण की तरह डील कर पाए. So as the main purpose of the philosophy of Gita is to develop the intellectual and logical ability of Arjun in order that he may be able to take his own decision in the face of alternatives. This should be our ideal of education also. So for this, हमें teachers को भी उतना logically और intellectual होना पड़ेगा कि we could help our students to solve their problems intellectually and through logical reasonings. So we should listen our students patiently as Krishna does, provide alternatives and counsel them, but let them take the final decision. It is an important principle of counseling also that counselor should not impose the decision on the counselee. Instead, he or she should help the counselee to realize his or her strength and weaknesses and take the final decision. Next objective is development of internal consciousness and modification of personality is very important. As mentioned earlier, Arjun desires to keep himself away from distressing battlefield. Krishna does not want to force him against his will. Instead, he takes resources to logical reasonings and tries to convince Arjun about his sacred self-duty. Okay. So ultimately, on his own, Arjun decides to fight against his opponents. Thus, Krishna, his guru and friend, succeeded in awakening the inner consciousness, that is the Antakaran. Krishna awakens in Arjun the virtuous powers inherent in him and motivates him towards the right path. This is exactly what a guru should do for his disciple. Thus, the ideal of education should be to develop and sublimate the personality of the student, this is exactly the ideal that we should follow in the field of education. That is, position of self-realization is the situation of Vidya. Vidya means education. So we should help our students to realize for self-realization. So this is the unique synthesis of action, devotion, and knowledge. Action should be focused, devotion to the cause, and knowledge. Okay. Then next, what type of curriculum we should teach to our students? Gita refers two types of knowledge, Gyan, Aparavidya and Paravidya. That is, Aparavidya is the knowledge about the world affairs and including all types of subjects in various disciplines, arts, science, engineering, which are generally taught in our educational institutions. And Paravidya is spiritual knowledge about the supreme self or the knowledge about the soul, God, Jeev, or Jagat, world. Here I must quote the views of Dr. Janardhan Ghimri, a faculty of education from Tribhuvan University, Nepal. Actually, I was reading his research paper on Bhagwad Gita, in which he mentioned that how during the formal education, he changed his positive views about scriptures into negative ones until his graduation. He said that in my late childhood, I remember my father would recite Bhagwad Gita every morning, and after evening meal, he would recite the scriptures like Mahabharata, Devi Bhagwat, Krishna Charita, translated into Nepali language. That influence developed me an interest in reading the scriptures. When I was in the secondary school, my new companions and teachers' statement and interactions and closeness with the then underground communist leaders and cadres contributed in diminishing my interest in reading the scriptures. I started viewing my father's involvement in the reading scriptures to be meaningless act. When I was in the course of completing my secondary education, I was becoming more negative towards religion, traditional culture, values, and religious scriptures. Until I completed undergraduate studies, I understood the religious scriptures are to be superstitious. When I came to Kathmandu for the study of my master's degree, I started realizing that my worldview, my thoughts, attitude, and knowledge were extremely narrow and imperfect in relation to my understanding of the Vedic scripture. And this was happened. This attitude towards Vedic scripture was changed during pursuing the Masters of Education by Janardhan ji. So it was happened only because in that course, in B.Ed and in education courses, these philosophies have been included as the syllabus. So thanks to the curriculum developers of B.Ed and M.Ed or other educational courses. So needless to add, these days in our educational system, the Paravidya, the spiritual realm, is generally ignored, which should be included from early stages of schooling. And the knowledge about the spiritualism alone can give eternal peace to man. और भगवत गीता भी हमें भौतिकता और आध्यात्मिकता में सामंजस्य रखना सिखाती है। वो ये नहीं सिखाती है हमें कि हम आध्यात्मिक हो जाएं और अपना घर बार छोड़ दें और जंगलों में जाकर के रहना शुरू कर दें। नहीं, हम अपने जीवन में, अपनी गृहस्थी में किस तरीके से रहें कि हम अटैच होते हुए भी डिटैच रहें, अपनी ड्यूटीज पूरी करते रहें और मटेरियल और स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में बैलेंस बना करके चलें। So this type of education we strive to impart to our students. Then the concept of moral education according to Gita. Gita has principally emphasized on swadharma palan, duty karna, apne dharm ka palan karna. It was towards the fulfillment of this ideal that Arjun takes the decision to fight in the battlefield. अपने धर्म का पालन करने के लिए ही अर्जुन ने लड़ाई करने के लिए तैयार हुए। तो कृष्णा has impressed upon him that one's duty should be performed without taking into consideration its outcome and attachment. Attachment means rag, lagav for the same. It is extremely difficult to think of any higher moral ideal for a man than this. इससे बड़ा आइडियल कुछ नहीं हो सकता कि हम अपनी ड्यूटीज करते रहें फल की इच्छा किए बिना, उसके रिजल्ट्स से अटैच हुए बिना. तो इसको भी गीता में बहुत अच्छे से बताया गया है कि वन हु परफॉर्म्स हिज ड्यूटी विदाउट अटैचमेंट, surrendering the results unto the supreme God, is not affected by sinful action, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. हमें ऐसे ही रहना है जैसे लोटस लीफ, लोटस जो है वो पानी से ऊपर, पानी में होता है पर उससे ऊपर होता है, पानी उसको टच नहीं कर सकता. ऐसे ही हमें अपनी सारी ड्यूटीज करनी है पर हमें अपने सारे एक्शंस परफॉर्म करने हैं पर हमें उनके रिजल्ट्स के साथ बहुत ज्यादा कंसर्न नहीं रखना है. जो होगा देखा जाएगा. वी शुड बी मोर कंसर्न्ड अबाउट आवर ड्यूटीज. तो वैसे फल की इच्छा किए बिना कर्म करना सच में बहुत मुश्किल होता है और इच्छा को हम एक किनारे भी नहीं कर सकते. इच्छा या कामना के बीज ना हो तो कहते हैं कि कर्म के पौधे तैयार नहीं हो सकते. इच्छा शक्ति ही होती है इंसान की जो उसको कहां से कहां ले जाती है. इच्छा शक्ति ही है जो हमने एक दूसरा ग्रह, हम मंगल ग्रह तक पहुंच गए, हमने इतनी बड़ी बड़ी इन्वेंशंस कर ली एक इंसान ने. तो वो इच्छा शक्ति रखना बुरी बात नहीं है, उसी से ही हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. बट आवर डिजायर्स and intentions must be positive and must be in favor of the society and nation. किसी का बुरा ना सोचें, हम किसी के लिए बुरा ना करें. और बहुत ज्यादा जो लगता है कि रिजल्ट के साथ अटैचमेंट रखना, उससे क्योंकि दुख पहुंचता है. अगर रिजल्ट हमारा फेवर में आता है तो हम बहुत खुश हो जाते हैं, इफ इट इज नॉट इन फेवर तो हम बहुत दुखी हो जाते हैं. तो वो स्टेबल स्टेडी माइंड वाली स्टेट नहीं होती हमारी. तो उसी को पाने के लिए भगवान ने ये हमें समझाया है कि बहुत ज्यादा दुख में दुखी नहीं होना, सुख में सुखी नहीं होना, स्टेबल रहना चाहिए हमें. तो हमें कोई कैसा भी अपना कर्म करते रहिए, रिजल्ट जो भी आएगा वो भगवान के हाथ में. एक्शन इन आवर हैंड्स बट नॉट द फ्रूट्स. ओके. So through practicing this ideal, a person will reach the peak of his development and he will overcome all worldly attachment. Practice करके धीरे धीरे, एकदम से तो नहीं आता है. और हमारे वेदों में हर चीज के लिए जो है वो सिस्टम बताया गया है. अगर हम त्याग की बात करते हैं, 3 कंसेप्ट्स आते हैं, त्याग और वैराग्य और संन्यास. अगर हम त्याग कहते हैं तो उसके लिए भी हम छोटे छोटे स्टेप्स उठा के चलते हैं. वी डू फास्ट, हफ्ते में 1 दिन फास्ट कर लिया या कोई चीज खाने की छोड़ दी, तो वो दैट इज त्याग. ओके. और जो घर छोड़ के चले जाते हैं, become monks, they said that we are vairagi. they could vairagi अगर वो आपसे मिलकर ये ना बोले कि हमें घर छोड़े हुए 5 साल हो गए, इसका मतलब वैराग नहीं आया, सिर्फ त्याग ही हुआ है. घर छोड़ा है पर उसकी याद अभी बाकी है, तो वैराग नहीं आया. और संन्यास तो उससे भी हाईएस्ट स्टेट होती है जब आपका हर तरीके से, आप हर बंधन से मुक्त हो जाते हो, डिटैच्ड हो जाते हो. सो दिस वाज द मॉरल concept of moral education according to Bhagwad Gita. Now what should be the methods of teaching? हमने देखा कि there was a conversation between Krishna and Arjun. So conversational method, question answer method, demonstration method, teacher should opt these methods for teaching in the class. Okay. और question पूछने पे नाराज नहीं होना है. We should try to give answers to the students, and a good teacher always demonstrate the concepts or whatever behavior he want to teach the student. We should try to demonstrate that behavior in our personality. And contemporary method, that is rational analysis and learning by doing. These are the teaching methods according to Bhagwad Gita. And what are the role and qualities of teacher? What kind of a teacher should be? Teacher should be devoted to his work. अपने काम के लिए बहुत डिवोटेड होना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं कि क्लास में गए बस टाइम पास करके आ गए, या बच्चों का भी आई वॉश कर दिया और ऐसे ही बस कुछ कुछ करके और पूरा 40-45 मिनट 1 घंटा बिता के आ गए. नो, devoted teacher must be devoted to his or her work. The teacher must teach his subject with great competence, but when the issue of judgment is involved, he should let the student free. As Arjun was finally left to decide himself whether to fight or not. And he must possess a most balanced personality, and true teacher not only teaches truth but also demonstrates it. Then what are the qualities a student should possess according to Gita? The student, according to Bhagwad Gita, is not a disciple but a learner. The most required characteristic of an ideal student is to surrender before the teacher, accepting his ignorance of the subject he wants to know. Yes, this is most important thing. क्योंकि बहुत बार क्लास में या हमें ऐसे लोग भी मिलते हैं कि हमें सब कुछ आता है, ये क्या बताएंगे, है ना. कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को ही गीता का ज्ञान क्यों दिया, दुर्योधन को क्यों नहीं दिया? उसको भी तो दे सकते थे ना, मनाने तो गए थे ना उन्हें, पर उन्होंने वो ज्ञान क्यों नहीं लिया? क्योंकि दुर्योधन को ये था मुझे तो सब आता है, चलो हटो, मुझे मत सिखाओ, मुझे नहीं सुनना है तुम्हारी बात. और अर्जुन ने पूरा सरेंडर कर दिया. He was ready to accept his ignorance. तो इस वजह से उन्हें वो नॉलेज मिली जिससे आज हजारों हजारों साल के बाद भी हम लोग सब सीख रहे हैं. और इतना डीप नॉलेज है कि आप उसको एक बार में पढ़ के तो नहीं सीख सकते, पता नहीं कितनी बार उसको पढ़ना पड़ेगा. हर बार कोई ना कोई नई चीज जो है वो सामने आती है. तो स्टूडेंट्स शुड पोजेस genuineness, humanity, obedience, faith in his teacher, and other characteristics of a good learner. Okay, then what should be the discipline? Discipline जो है वो moral of Bhagavad Gita entails upon the discipline of the life and performance of one duty without attachment to the results in sattvic way. So this is the most important discipline we should have. Ideal personalities of teachers and deep scholarly efforts can save the untracked indiscipline among students. Faith on the instructions of Gita can remove the problems of the indiscipline and enemy that are prevailing in Indian education system. So, in conclusion, I would say that Bhagavad Gita especially stresses on the importance of the soul. The Lord says that this body is perishable and the soul is not perishable. Bhagavad Gita has not called the spiritual knowledge as education. Instead, it has taken both spiritual knowledge and material aspects in defining education, and considered education as the basis of worldly and spiritual progress. In this age of intellectual capital, we are busy acquiring the latest skills and expertise in the belief that it guarantees success and happiness. But success comes only when we put action, devotion, and knowledge all together. Okay, so how such type of success we can achieve? I would like to show a small video to demonstrate this. It will take 4 or 5 minutes only.
There's a very beautiful story in the Yogic law. There's a very beautiful story in the Yogic law.
On a certain day, 4 men were walking in the forest. These 4 men were walking in the forest. One is a Gnana Yogi, another is a Bhakti Yogi, another is a Karma Yogi, and the last one is a Kriya Yogi. These 4 people can never stay together. They cannot be together. Because a Gnana Yogi means yoga of intelligence. He is a man of intellect, great intellect. He has complete disdain for everybody. He thinks everybody is a fool. Especially these bhakti yogis who are doing Ram Ram or whatever. In his mind, they look like utter idiots. He can't stand them. Bhakti yogis, people of devotion.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Sapna ma'am.
मैम आई थिंक रचना मैम का नेटवर्क इशू हुआ है.
हाँ मुझे भी ऐसा लग रहा है.
कॉल पर
मैम
आई थिंक आई कैन जॉइन. यस यस प्लीज प्लीज. हेलो रचना मैम.
मैम के एंड पे ना शायद नेटवर्क इशू हो रहा है.
Yes, ma'am.
We were not able to hear and watch this.
मैम वीडियो की वजह से ना बैंडविड्थ ज्यादा यूज हो रही है. आप ये आपकी प्रेजेंटेशन ही अच्छी है.
Okay, I will share the link of the video in chat box so participants watch it later. Okay, I will share the link.
मैम जस्ट अ मिनट मैं फॉर एवरीवन कर देती हूँ उसकी सेटिंग ना चैट की. हाँ you can share.
This is the link.
You can post the link. हाँ.
I have posted the link, and in this video, Sadhguru tried to explain through a story that if Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Kriya Yoga, all 4 combines, then only we can achieve salvation, or we can meet the God, or we can achieve the success. So this was the whole idea behind the presentation, that Bhagwad Gita gives very practical knowledge, and we need to introduce it in our educational institutions so that we can develop the spiritual knowledge as well. With the Vidya or worldly knowledge, we could develop the spiritual knowledge among our students. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much रचना मैम. आपने बहुत ही अच्छे से हम लोगों को समझाया, सिग्निफिकेंस बताई, इम्पोर्टेंस बताया ऑफ एजुकेशन एज कंसीव्ड इन भगवत गीता. आई मीन आई डोंट हैव वर्ड टू थैंक यू. कितना अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन आपने दिया हमें. Now I request all the participants to raise question. You can raise directly, you can ask directly to ma'am, or you can also mention your question in the chat box. Meanwhile, ma'am, I have one question. I have a very generic question. I mean, हम देख रहे हैं कि कितना ज़्यादा changes आए हैं. Traditional हमारा जो teaching method था या education system था, that was totally different. Now we have moved from that. Now, do you feel that the current way we are educating our children fully prepare them for future? I mean, which is the best one, the traditional one or the contemporary one, the current one? And जो आज हम उन्हें पढ़ा रहे हैं, जो आज हम उन्हें करिकुलम पढ़ा रहे हैं, क्या वो उन्हें फ्यूचर के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहा है? So this is my question.
देखो सपना, जो ट्रेडिशनल मेथड अगर हम वेदों के हिसाब से देखें तो वो ट्रेडिशनल मेथड ये था कि टीचर जो है वो सिर्फ बोलता था, लेक्चर मेथड। लेक्चर मेथड वाज द ट्रेडिशनल मेथड। पर अगर हम भगवद गीता में मेथड देखते हैं टीचिंग के, तो कृष्ण ने तो कन्वर्सेशन किया है, लेक्चर थोड़ी ना दिया है। उन्होंने सारे सवालों के जवाब दिए हैं, क्वेश्चन आंसर किया है अर्जुन के साथ में। तो ये मेथड जो है ये बेस्ट है। अभी जितनी भी हमारी वेस्टर्न फिलोसफीज है ना, वो इन्हीं मेथड्स को बताती हैं कि टीचर शुड एक्ट एज अ फैसिलिटेटर, टीचर शुड जस्ट एक्ट लाइक अ स्टेज सेटर, उसको सिर्फ बता दें, बच्चों को गाइड करें। ये सारी जो चीजें वेस्टर्न स्कूल्स ऑफ फिलोसफी कहते हैं, ये हमारे हजारों हजारों साल पुराने स्क्रिप्चर्स में और वेदों में हैं। ठीक है, हमें मिले जुले मेथड्स यूज करने पड़ेंगे क्लास में। अगर हम ये बोलें कि सिर्फ फैसिलिटेटर बन के काम चल जाएगा, तो ऐसा भी नहीं है। अगर हम ये बोलें सिर्फ लेक्चर देके काम चल जाएगा, तो ऐसा भी नहीं है। देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ टीचिंग मेथड्स, बहुत सारे हैं, और we need to decide that what method should be suitable to a particular topic which we are going to teach. उसके हिसाब से we need to choose a teaching method. ठीक है, हर एक मेथड, हर एक टॉपिक को आप प्रोजेक्ट से भी नहीं करा सकते, हर एक टॉपिक को आप क्वेश्चन आंसर से भी नहीं करा सकते, और हर एक टॉपिक को आप लेक्चर से भी नहीं करा सकते। तो इट वेरी फ्रॉम सब्जेक्ट एंड टॉपिक टू टॉपिक। बट इन मॉडर्न टाइम्स our educationists emphasize on this conversation or question answer, or or constructivism in the classroom, that the method should be constructive, that the child could create his own knowledge by applying the previous knowledge he has with him. So these are the methods, latest methods and previous one, but we cannot deny कि पुराने वाले अच्छे हैं या उनको छोड़ देना चाहिए, या वो खराब है या वो खराब है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। We need to decide ourselves.
Thank you, ma'am. There is another question by our participant, Ratindra Narayan Das. Do you think that Gita-based education be a part of moral science? I repeat the question.
Yes, why not? I have read the question, Sapna ma'am. Yes, Gita-based education be a part of moral science. Yes, why not? Moral science का part होना ही चाहिए Gita-based education, and बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग मैंने देखे हैं. I have met so many people who are engineers, qualified doctors, practicing medical, scientists. They are following the teachings of Gita, because Gita is philosophy of life. It gives answer to all our questions. कभी भी dilemma में हो, you could get answer to each and every dilemma of your life. तो बहुत सारे लोग इसमें involved हैं. It should be a part of moral science.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now,
I would like to say something.
Yes, Kartikeya sir.
Rachna ma'am, you had so many slides remaining, but probably you have cut short the presentation. It was a long presentation. Yes. It was very, very good, very, very nice. Yes. And I must appreciate the amount of hard work which you have done to find out all these shlokas from these verses of Bhagwad Gita, and the way you have put them together. I mean, you have justified it very nicely, and many of us who think that, okay, we know a lot about it, but still we have learned a lot. I mean, thanks is a very small word which I should be putting forward, but yes, I'm so happy that we are working with you, and you are one of our colleagues. I feel so proud. I am so happy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
one particular statement and request I would like to make at this particular platform, where we have faculty members from all over India. in your presentation, you were talking about case whether the students and the faculty members, I mean, they should have exemplary personalities, and we think that we should be a yachak and patra, कि हम उस विद्या के पात्र अच्छे से बने. But one thing which always troubles me is that the portrayal of faculty, whether it is on TV serials or whether it is in movies or whether it is on any video songs, it is always shown that all educational institutions of faculty are nothing but mockery stuff. And that is one of the reasons why probably the connect has lost. I mean, the students, they slowly have stopped respecting us. And that is, I mean, whether you see South movies, they always show that, okay, goons are roaming free in the colleges and universities and they are creating ruckus. So this is, I mean, the portrayal of faculty and educational institutions and academic environment in our movies and everywhere, that has really been very counterproductive. So my humble request to anyone who is involved over here or who has influence, probably they should change it. We are not mockery stuff. I mean, please realize that the amount of hard work which we do. I don't know, many of...
Yes, I agree with you, sir.
Many of us may not realize it, and okay, acknowledging is not the thing, that, but still, you know, the amount of basic respect which is required. And one more point I would like to put forward is that many of the participants, some of them had issues with the entire session being in Hindi. But as far as we know, that we have tried to use bilingual methodology, and let us not make the language an issue. I'm speaking on behalf of the coordinator, Kanika ma'am, because, you know, in India or maybe across the world, I mean, when we can, I mean, work a bit to, I mean, learn any foreign language, German or maybe Spanish or others. So probably if we increase our patience level a bit, we would like to give the same kind of, I mean, love to our languages also. And then, I mean, all these languages are very much similar. And I can, I mean, cite my own example. When I was studying in Andhra, so when I came back, I learned how to speak Telugu, but then today I feel that if I would have learned how to read and write, that would have been much better. So I'm working on that. So that's my humble submission. And anyway, thank you again. Thank you so much, Rachna ma'am, once again. I request Dr. S.S. Agarwal, our Director General, to please say a few words and also present the expression of gratitude. Am I right, Kanika ma'am?
बिल्कुल सही सर. मैं भी इसमें एक सेंटेंस जोड़ना चाहूंगी. थैंक यू रचना मैम फॉर सच एन इंस्पिरेशनल टॉक. जैसे कहा जाता है ना संस्कृत में, विद्या ददाति विनयम, विनयम ददाति पात्रताम, वो तो खत्म ही हो गया है कि ना, विद्या से विनयम तो आता ही था, पात्रता तभी बनती थी. लेकिन आज के टाइम में जैसे हम देख रहे हैं, जो सिनेरियो चल रहा है, वो चीजें खत्म होती जा रही हैं. उसी को दोबारा से रिवाइव करने की जरूरत है. और आपके लेक्चर से ये चीजें तो हमें मतलब हमने रिवाइव करा है. और अपने मतलब फैकल्टी को भी मैं यही कहूंगी कि लेक्चर से सीखे, बच्चों के साथ डिस्कशन करें, और बच्चों को भी यही मैसेज देना चाहेंगे कि वो भी मतलब लेने ग्रहण करने के लिए आगे बढ़े, ना कि ये कि मेरे को तो सब कुछ आता है और उन्हें कुछ सीखना ही नहीं है. तो दोनों तरफ से कोऑर्डिनेशन होना चाहिए, और म्यूचुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग के साथ ही अच्छी लर्निंग एंड अच्छी टीचिंग हो सकती है. तो थैंक यू सो मच मैम. तो मैं आप एंड मैं अब अग्रवाल सर को इनवाइट करना चाहूंगी कि वो मैम को ग्रेटिट्यूड ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन प्रेजेंट करें, और इसमें 2 शब्द अपने देना चाहें मैम को.
आप लोगों ने सभी बहुत अच्छा बताया उनके बारे में. डॉक्टर रचना शर्मा जो हमारी कोलीग भी हैं, we feel very proud of you, Rachna. Really, that you are one of the faculty members in our institution and a person with great knowledge and a great humbleness, and having all the ethical values that we are teaching today. And in your lecture, really we have got a gist of the duties of the students and duties for the teachers. In fact, if you analyze each one of the slides and the sentences you have written there, I think they are itself good lessons for everybody. they should try to imbibe in their lives all these things which have been told through Bhagwad Gita. So what I say is that this lecture has been a very educative, very informative, and a wonderful lecture by you. We really appreciate your hard work and uh, dedication to this area, and you have done a great job. Really, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
No, really, yeah. Thank you so much. And I think we should, Kanika Madam, Kartike ji, we should make it a point that, you know, some of these things, or most of these things which Dr. Rachna has told, one time or the other, we should try to actually teach our students also from time to time, so that at least they understood what is our ancient philosophy, what is teaching, what is learning, what is a guru and what is a shishya and all that. Thank you so much. And this is a token of appreciation from the STTP. I'll not say that this is KIIT, but this is from STTP.
Thank you, sir.
For your... Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
I would also like to thank many of the participants for their patience and participation. I see Dr. Gangavati, she has been very kind. I mean, yesterday while she was traveling, I saw her, but still she was connected to us. I personally thank you, ma'am, for being so interested. And Mr. Ratendra Narayan Das, your comments are always very much important for us. I'm unable. I don't remember the name of the person who the participant, but he's from Yogic Sciences. His name is not here today, but he also constantly participates. And then Mr. Arnav, he's there with us, and then Mr. Surojit Das also, and Madam Bhavani Kulkarni, Madam Pankaja, and then I think I'll be able to take more names tomorrow. But I thank all the participants who have made this entire STTP a grand success and a platform for learning. Thank you so much. And Kanika ma'am, I think we should give some instructions and information about tomorrow's program.
Tomorrow's program will start at 10 a.m. Tomorrow is a valedictory session and it will start at 10 a.m. in the morning. And there are 2 lectures in the valedictory session, and which will be followed by final assignment and test submission, which is required for the participation certificate of the event. So be there at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And जैसे कार्तिकेय सर ने कहा कि without your participation this event cannot be a great success. So thank you all for participating in this event and make it a grand success event. Thank you so much. Thank you so much all. So we'll meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the valedictory event. Namaskar.